I'm at Makapu Beach right now on the east shore of Oahu. And what I wanted to talk to you about today was how the movie Batman Begins is a great metaphor for hardcase newbies who want to learn success with women. All right, so say that you're a hardcase newbie and you have things like depression or extreme negativity or really bad self-talk or just being in a general daze or being socially awkward or being so stuck in your head that anyone who you interact with thinks that you're weird, or maybe you have so many weird negative emotions trapped in your body that it's hard to communicate with anyone in a normal way. You probably saw the movie The Dark Knight Rises and saw the scene where he's at the bottom of the prison cell and he has to crawl up and essentially lose his fear of death before he can make it out of that prison. And I bet you probably related to that. All right, so I know that I did. That movie was actually, it sounds dramatic and, think whatever you want, but it was actually really hard for me to watch. I thought it was amazing, but, I was like, just like, during the whole thing, because I so strongly relate to that and what that kind of experience is like. And a lot of people don't relate to that, but if you're a hard case newbie in the stuff that I teach, you definitely relate to that. So anyway, the scene being that he's broken, right? He's psychologically broken and he's physically broken, and he's sitting at the bottom of this pit and he's watching on television, almost like from a distance, at how everything he cares about is completely falling apart around him. So if you're a guy who has, say, something like depression or any of those issues that I talked about, you're what's called a hard case newbie, you would relate to that because you've probably sat at home looking at the outside world, maybe through the internet or whatever, and you're watching your life fall apart. You're seeing how all the different things that you thought should have played out in your life and should have gone well are just not going to go well. And you see other people whose lives are going well, and you think, well, I guess that's not me. That's not how my life is going to go, because you're broken.
So one of my favorite things on this planet is running seminars. I actually run free seminars all over the country. Are you guys having fun right now? Yeah! So this is actually late at night on a Sunday. We've been in a long one. It's just a crazy one. Last couple remaining people here is a lot of fun. And I've got a free seminar coming up in a couple of different cities right now. The first one is going to be Los Angeles this week. The one that we do in LA is massive. It's going to be a crap show. There's going to be a lot of people there. It's going to be amazing. We're running that for 3 full days. After that's going to be Vegas, Phoenix, Arizona, San Diego, Washington, D.C., Boston, Orlando, and Miami coming up ASAP. So, do you guys recommend that they come out and learn about social skills, how to make cash? Do you guys feel like you learned a lot about social skills here today? Yeah! Could you guys learn a lot about how to make cash here today? Yeah! Could you guys build a network and some friends for life? Yeah! Can we have a great field trip last night out to the club? Yeah! Okay, and do you recommend that they click the link below right now? Yeah! So I'd say this, right now, free event coming up. I don't know if I'm doing these forever. And also, the sooner that you get signed up, I got to tell you something. What happens is in a room like this, now this is the end of Sunday, but on the first day it was here, it was freaking packed. And when you sign up early, you get a front row seat. You lock that in. So as a result, I recommend that you sign up right now while I'm still doing it. Guys, you excited to see them at a free event coming up? Yeah! Sign up for the free event. I'm excited to meet you in person.
Now, the way that I would explain it, and I think a lot of people who have never experienced something like this have a hard time grasping it. Let's say that you're a guy who actually does not relate to this at all. Here's the best way I could sort of connect the dots for you. Think of a time when you're sick, okay? So think of a time that you're really, really sick. And say you have a school essay due or a bunch of math questions due or something like that. And you're so sick that to write that essay would be almost impossible. It's almost impossible even to formulate sentences. You're basically just want to lie there and do nothing. So imagine now if instead of having to write an essay, you also had to go to the gym. You also had to get your money taken care of because you're broke. You had to go out and meet girls because you have no girls. And basically, you have to learn how to socialize with people in a normal way because that's just not something you can physically do. So then when you're that sick, your mind is in such a low state of consciousness that it's almost impossible to even conceive of any of these things. Now, what a guy who's quote-unquote normal, and of course normal is a very relative term, but more closer to what you call normal, even above normal, would say to someone who's a hard case newbie is, shut the fuck up, stop being a fucking loser, and take action, right? Well, that's actually very difficult for a hard case newbie to do because that's like saying to Bruce Wayne, just shut the fuck up and climb the fucking wall, just get out, lose your little fear of death, dude, just climb out, go save Gotham, da-da. It's just not likely to happen, right? So the problem again with being the hard case newbie is it's just too hard, okay? There's just too much mental leverage needed. And a lot of the things that people who are normal or above average, they kind of take for granted is that, mental health, they take that for granted. Or, just being able to take action or even being able to normally socialize, they take that for granted. But see, things like having good parents or things like having, the enough motivation, like you found your reasons to do what you do, or maybe like, caring even caring and like actually not wanting your life to be bad. Like a normal guy would even take that for granted, right? Like not wanting your life to be bad. Well, when you're a hard case newbie, you're so down low that you don't even care anymore. You're like, whatever, you've just kind of accepted it. And you can see there's almost like different cultures of that, because there's some guys that are like that hate it. They hate that they're fucked up. But then there's even some guys that have even gone beyond hating it and have just embraced it. Like they're just totally fucked, and maybe they just sit around, maybe online becoming like internet trolls, or like not like the funny ones, but like the fucked up dark ones, or they've just taken to like masturbating to strange child porn, or some kind of fucked up shit that's in their head. Basically, they've literally just accepted it. So sometimes you'll actually meet these like really dark, nerdy guys out, and you can almost sense that they don't even care that they're like that. Like they have the same confidence that like a successful guy would have, but they have nothing to back it up at all. And it's not coming from like a fun or joyful place. It's coming from a dark place. And they have kind of like a way of relating to you where they just really don't care. They just don't give a fuck. They're not even like, I've seen some hard case newbies that are like, they don't even give a fuck that they're fucked up, and they're not intimidated by anybody because they've gone to even such a low place, and that's like even more fucked up. But actually then there's a lot of them who do care, and they're just like, very confused or negative about it, and da-da-da, right? So it's, that's like a whole situation. Now, that metaphor from Dark Knight Rising, I don't know if Chris Nolan intended it or not, but it definitely like, kind of registered like that for me. It might have registered like that for you. Was like, he's down there and he's looking up at the sun. It's up there, right? It's up there. He's down here. And he's literally going to have to strengthen himself from nothing, right? So even just doing like little simple things like push-ups, he's going to have to do that just to get himself going, and then slowly build it up and maybe make attempts at it. But of course, the thing that's holding him back is that rope, right? Like the fact that he still has that fear of death, the fact that he still has that backup, that rope is actually what's holding him back. And what's going to allow him to rise up out of there, up out of the prison, is that he's going to have to cut the rope, and he's going to have to lose his fear of death. So essentially, he's going to have to get to a place where, at the beginning of the movie, he's already been weakened. He's been severely weakened at the beginning of the movie. He's lost his passion. He's lost the mental things that make him care enough to actually live a normal life. But from there, he's actually going to have to be brought lower down to, to actually. He's going to have to hit rock bottom, basically. He's going to have to be stripped of everything. So even the things that he had left that he cared about, he's going to have to have that stripped away from him and brought to a place of complete, just as low as he can get, like stuck in some shitty fucking prison and just, with no ability to move or to do anything. So even the things that he even had at a normal level, he's going to have to be brought down to the lowest level possible to be able to find the strength to be able to go up, right? So, so for him to find that strength, he has to be brought down to the point of losing everything. And then he has to see not only the people that, or not only himself, his life gone to shit, and he can maybe take that, but the people that he cares about, their lives are going to also have to be ruined for him to find the strength to rise out of it, right? So by him choosing to cut the rope and to be willing to die to be able to come out of it, that's essentially the metaphor of him to be able to crawl out. And for a lot of guys that are hard cases, they're going to have a very similar experience to that, because they don't have the psychological leverage to pull themselves out of it. And from there, they just don't, they don't have the motivation, but also it's like they're so low functioning. Like you're in that kind of mode, you're so low functioning that the thoughts in your head are just so stupid. They're just so fucking stupid. So like if you look at Bruce Wayne at the start of the movie, his thoughts are just stupid because he's just he's like, oh well, my girlfriend's gone, or the things I care about are gone. He's just I can't move my knees or things like that. So he just he kind of gives up, but that's stupid, right? Like, that's actually stupid, not to diss Bruce Wayne, he's the most badass motherfucker ever, but that's fucking stupid. So when you're in that kind of low state of mind, things hit you differently, right? Like, adrenal responses hit differently. Like, you have this low level adrenaline kind of like mental cocktail of different brain neurotransmitters that aren't functioning properly. And so little things bother you. If you even look on like RC Nation forums, some guy might criticize another guy and then that guy freaks out. It's like totally hilarious to watch him freak out over bullshit, right? It's like just online talking. Why is the guy freaking out? But to him, because his brain neurotransmitters go haywire, he fucking flips out, right? Or maybe it's like someone says something that pisses him off and his brain neurotransmitters flip out, because when you have like that low level adrenaline that comes from being a hard case, it's like this low level adrenaline cortisol cocktail that's kind of always in your body, and little things set you off, little things set off, like you have serotonin, acetylcholine, GABA, dopamine, things like that. It just, your brain's not functioning right and it sets it off. So if you want to concentrate on something for a long period of time, it's almost impossible for you to do that, because you can't do it. You don't have the staying power, the willpower to do it. And so essentially, like Bruce Wayne, he just does like little push-ups or just like little things, like slowly rebuilds back his body. And then eventually he's got to look up and he's got to see that he's going to have to see, like, where he's coming from below. He's just stuck down here. He's going to have to see what he wants, and it looks far away and it doesn't even look real anymore. And he can see the outside world. He's going to have to pull himself up, and he's going to have to find that inner strength. He's going to have to go deeper, to be able to pull himself out and just lose everything and just be willing to come out. Now, if you can do that, then there's a lot to gain, right? There's a lot to gain. And the way I always think about it, for me, the way I always thought about it was like, you're only going to live once, at least as far as you know, and you've got really all of eternity to be dead. So why not just see how this plays out and try as best as you can, right? So I think like someone who's happy, that that analogy like that would sound a bit shocking. Like, well, you have eternity to be dead. Why not just see how this plays out? But if you're a hard case newbie, you relate to that, because you don't really care if you're dead. You don't really give a fuck, because there's just nothing there. It's like Bruce Wayne at the start of the movie. There's just nothing there, right? There's no reason to do anything, because you don't give a fuck. Okay, so if you don't give a fuck and there's no reason to do anything, and on top of that, your body's broken down and your mind is broken down, why would you do anything? But the way I always saw it was like, you might as well find something to motivate yourself and do it and see how it plays out, because you never know what could happen. And you don't really know why you're put here or why you're alive. So it's really not for you to question that. And you can play a game with yourself saying there's no point to it or whatever. You can do all that. And it may be true. It's hard to say. But you can make the choice to try, right? You can make the choice to try. So why not try? And a lot of people will look down on it. And a lot of people have a lot to say about it and shit. And that's fine. And who cares? That doesn't really matter what people say. So, if you're a hard case newbie, you'll probably never fully heal what happened to you in the past. And you'll always be a little weird. And that might sound like a limiting belief, but I don't think it is. I think if you take a dog and you kick the shit out of it for 10, 20, 30 years, you just beat the shit out of it in a cage and you prod it and you poke it and you torture it, you're probably going to have a dog that can be somewhat normal, but it's never going to be totally normal. I remember I had these two little funny dogs around my son, and one of them was like a dog that was bought from from a breeder, and the other one was a stray, and they're almost identical. They look the same, and the one that's the stray, when my kid would play with it every so often, it'd be like, "Arr, arr," like that, That's kind of like what guys like hard case newbie will always kind of have like a bit of twitchiness, a bit of kind of like fucked upness, like, like a bit of that twitchiness. You'll never totally get rid of it, because the things that have happened to you are so intense, right? So you'll never fully get rid of that. But you can actually come to it a very interesting place, right? So there's a lot of great leaders, people like JFK, Martin Luther King, Gandhi, Winston Churchill, that have gone through things like hypomania or depression, which actually has allowed them to relate to people on a deeper level. People that have had to go to a dark place, they have a greater degree of empathy for other people, because they've experienced what it's like to be in that dark place. So a lot of people, like, they go around, they see fucked up things in the world, and they're cool with that because they've never really experienced anything that fucked up. But when you've experienced that, and then you see other people that are in that place, it's not really tolerable to you to see that, because you actually have seen what it's like to be there, and you could not allow another person in good conscience to stay in that place. So you would do whatever you can to push them out of it, right? So a lot of great leaders have actually accomplished a lot by being in a headspace like that, because they have a greater degree of empathy, and they can also communicate with larger numbers of people because they understand psychologically what's going on. So a lot of great creative things have come out of people that have been in very dark places. A lot of strong leaders have come from that. They call that a crisis leader. There's actually a book called First Rate Madness. You might want to read that. You might find it inspiring or motivating to think that maybe what you've been through actually could pose a advantage for you. You might as well get some kind of advantage if you've been through something like that. So, in First Rate Madness, what he explains is that many of the great leaders, they're basically he calls it a crisis leader. They wouldn't necessarily be the best leader in a peacetime. In a peacetime, you'd just want an administrator who just effectively goes about his day-to-day life. But somebody, or not day-to-day life, but day-to-day existence of whatever's doing well, right? So if it's a country and the country's doing well, you don't need a guy that's kind of kooky. But if you have a crisis situation, someone who's been through that has actually learned to live there. So when you've learned to live in a state of high adrenaline, cortisol response, or like actually tends to be like a low level one that kind of stays in your system permanently when you have that fucked up mind space, and you've lived in like these extreme emotions, that's like a demon like screaming at your mind, like things just fucking with you all the time, then what could happen is that you've been through that. So then when it gets stressful and everyone's freaking out, and all the quote-unquote normal people, quote-unquote, right, are freaking out, you actually have been through that. You're very calm in that because you live there. That seems normal to you, right? So it's actually fucked up situations are normal. So in a lot of ways, when you could think about it, you could almost think of nature as actually, both nature and nurture affecting different humans in different ways and planting seeds of people who in a normal environment might just be depressed and weird, but if something happens, those are the same people that might get called upon to step up and make a big change, right? So you want to realize that what you've been through could have some kind of meaning, and there's things that you could do with that. There's actually, it doesn't have to be this fucked up thing. You could actually rise out of it. And that also can serve as an inspiration for other people. So you want to think of it like that, okay? So now that's something a lot of people would have a hard time to understand because they, maybe they grew up and parents were fine, or they haven't been like had the shit beaten out of them again and again for years, or seen like extreme isolation or not seeing a way out of that. So you'd think, well, what the fuck is going on there, right? But I always think there's a certain percentage of people that gravitate towards the stuff that I teach that are coming from that place. And whenever I teach them, I want to kind of baby step them and give them things that they can move towards, right? And when you're in that point, I think that everything has to be built around getting out of that and building strength. So that's why everything from the food that you put in your mouth, I've recommended books like The Ultramind Solution by Mark Hyman or 150 Healthiest Foods by Johnny Bowden. I recommend those books to learn about how the food that you eat affects your mind, because that's a huge one that causes that craziness. Or things like meditation that you do to calm your mind down every single day, to lower those stress responses and to lower the insanity. Or things like, the gym or physical activity. Those are things that actually allow you to spike your brain in ways that will do the right things. Having good friends, social groups, having a lot of sex, but of course, when you're a hardcase newbie, that's probably not in the cards, right? But things like that, like just starting to get your first girlfriends or dates or whatever, and finding things to be optimistic about. And then, of course, the big one that I always say for hardcase newbie is like admitting that you suck shit. Like, you have to admit it. You have to stop comparing yourself to guys that get good at it fast. You have to stop that. You're never going to get anywhere doing that. I can't stand it. Like, the two things that I always say that I knew as a hardcase newbie was when I suck shit. You've seen a video of me in Boston once where I'm like, I suck shit. And like even making it sound strong, like, I suck shit. I fucking suck. Say it with me. I suck shit, right? Just like being able to do that, because when you admit it and like even just in your body emotionally, you're fine with that. You can actually take progress, and like being happy in small little things, like just like, even if just for like 30 seconds you get a conversation, be happy. That's how I was when I was learning this, because I was so socially isolated that for someone to even talk to me for 30 seconds, I was excited. But some hardcase newbies, they read about guys that got good fast, and you know, someone talks to them for 30 seconds, they don't know how to take any kind of pleasure in that because they want to be like those other guys, right? So that's one. The other one's to realize no one's going to fix it for you. Like, I can make videos like this for you. I'll do as best I can. I do everything I can really in my power, to be honest. I don't really know what more I could do for you. But at the end of the day, it's on you, right? So I always viewed it like it was on me. Like, no one was going to fix it but me. Nobody owed me shit. Like, I never thought that, like, the government needs to come in or anything like that, you know? Like, I knew I was a victim of what had happened to me, but I also knew that at the end of the day, like, being a victim is not going to serve anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, being a victim is not going to serve anything. So, you know, different people get to grow up in different circumstances, and some get it easier than others, and, you know, some don't, right? But I don't know, dude. Like, I see a lot of people that had it kind of easy growing up, and you know, anything goes wrong for them, it's super pathetic, actually. They just don't have that drive or motivation. But when you have, like, deep layers of shit that you've been through, there's a motivation that you could tap into there that goes a lot deeper, right? And people that have been through a lot are just have a deeper source to draw from. So you got to be focusing on the positive, you know? If you're a guy who's not a hard case, then you don't need to be like pissed off that you're not a hard case. Trust me, you have advantages too, a lot. But if you're a hard case, you need to focus on the advantages that you do have, and you need to play them out, right? And you need to dig deeper. You got to dig deeper, and it doesn't matter if you fall flat on your face, or how many times or how many people criticize you, or how many people want to shit on you, or whatever, because people, like, you know, it's always like, I always think, like, high level people never want to shit on anybody. You know, I don't think anyone at a high level in life wants to shit on anybody. But it's usually people kind of like in the middle in life that kind of think that that's what a high level person would do. They like to shit on people. They like to do that because it makes them feel good, right? So, you know, people shit on you, but remember, no person whose opinion ever is relevant shits on anybody, right? Like, nobody who's happy and getting laid and having a good life ever shits on anybody. Just people that are pissed because it makes them feel better. So, I mean, that's maybe a bit of an exaggeration. Probably some people with a good life shit on people sometimes, but again, that's just someone that's in that one moment just acting like a fucking idiot. So you want to personalize that. Don't worry what anyone thinks. It's really on you. It's your mental movie, right? Like, your mental movie of life doesn't matter. Like, anyone could think anything of me, for example. I'm still sitting here just doing what I want. I love making videos, so that's what I like to do. Doesn't matter what anyone thinks. Doesn't matter what anyone thinks of you. It really doesn't. Like, it truly doesn't. What matters is your mental movie of life, and you create the mental movie of life that you want, and digging deeper and being willing to fucking do whatever it takes to get there. And again, just sort of leave you with that metaphor, like, cut the rope, right? Like, you got to cut the fucking rope. And when you cut the rope, and you'd be willing to do anything to claw out of that situation, you claw out of it like you would do anything. To me, like, you know, that's where it's at. That's kind of the level that I had to go to. I think that's the level that any hard case is going to have to go to. Like, sitting around fucking being a crybaby, sitting around complaining, sitting around waiting for someone to do something for you, sitting around complaining about other people, indulging in craziness, like any of that shit. No, that's not going to get you anywhere. You got to rise above that. Like, you got to be like, the only thing you want, the only thing you care about is to pull yourself up out of that. Like, single-minded focus, like looking up, and there it is. Like, there's the light. It's up there. That's all you're going to be looking at. There's nothing else there. You're just going to be looking at that, and you're going to think about what steps you want to take to get there. And in the process of getting there, when you do get out, that's where the greatest strength is found. That's where, because the things that you had to go through to come out of that is what forges you into something, right? And that's why even in that Batman movie, like, the fucking bad guy had also had to come out of there, right? And they were strengthened down there in the fucking darkness, right? Someone who's been strengthened in the darkness, who's been pushed down there, who's experienced that, down in that for a long time, what effect that's going to have on that person, someone who has not been through that, there's a very different situation going on between those two people, right? There's a much deeper level that you can go through if you've been down there. But again, if you're down there right now, what the fuck are you gonna do, right? You're down there now. You've got to strengthen yourself. You got to fucking strengthen yourself. You got to go through that. You got to pull up. You got to look up there. You got to go up, no matter what. But right, like, rise. That's what the movie says. The Dark Knight Rises, right? That's what it is. So that's you. Okay. All right. I'm gonna take off. And I hope you enjoyed hearing about an issue that's real for me. That's what I've been through. And that's hopefully, if you're going through that, what you're willing to do. Okay. All right. Pleasure to talk to you, and I'll see you soon. Peace.